Okay, so I said in the thumbnail, you may not have been taught this in math class. You may have, but a lot of teachers I know don't teach this, and this pops up on the SAT. I know this because I tutor for the SAT math, and this is going to really help you. And both of these involve quadratics, and the first one is the sum of the solutions of a quadratic. Okay, so for example, if I had a quadratic that was factored to x minus 5 times x plus 3, well, the solutions to this would be x equals 5 and x equals negative 3. So the sum of those solutions would be 5 plus negative 3, which is equal to 2. Okay? Now, we can get the sum of the solutions by looking at our standard form here, ax squared plus bx plus c. If we take the opposite of b, so if we take a negative b and divide it by a, that's going to give us the sum of the solutions. So for example, x minus 5 times x plus 3 is x squared minus 2x minus 15. So the opposite of b is 2 divided by a is 1. So we can see that the opposite of negative 2 over 1 equals positive 2. All right, so that's the first one. Now let me show you an SAT problem that uses this concept. Okay, so here's one. We have x times x plus 1 minus 56 equals 4x times x minus 7. What is the sum of the solutions of the given equation? All right, so if you didn't understand this formula, you might have to go through and try to solve this, where really all we have to do is simplify this and get everything on one side and then use this formula. All right, so let's do this. So if I distribute the left side, I would get x squared plus x minus 56 equals 4x squared minus 28x. If I bring everything over, let's bring it over to the right side, I would get 3x squared. I would get minus 29x, and then I would get plus 56. So that's set equal to 0 now. So I would get, from our formula, the opposite of b. So remember, we're going the opposite of b over a. So I'd say the opposite of negative 29, which is 29, divided by 3 would be my answer for the sum of the solutions. So much simpler, much easier, much faster. All right, so here's a screenshot of a YouTuber working out that same problem and not using that shortcut negative b over a. And look at how much work they put into that. So you're saving just a ton of time. You can easily make an error with this. So negative b over a is very useful. So that's tip one. All right, tip number two, the product of the solutions of a quadratic. Right, so the product of the solutions of a quadratic is equal to c divided by a. Okay, so let's do a simple example and then I'll show you one on the SAT. So for example, let's start out with its factored forms. Let's say we had 2x minus 1 times, I don't know, let's go x plus 8. Okay, so the solutions to this quadratic would be x equal a half, and it would be x equal negative 8. So the product of these would be 1 half times negative 8, so that would equal negative 4. All right, so let's expand this out into ax squared plus bx plus c form. So this would be 2x squared, and then would be plus 15x, and then it would be minus 8. Okay, so my c value is negative 8. My a value is 2, so if I just take negative 8 divided by 2, I get negative 4, which is the product of the solutions of the quadratic. Okay? All right, so let's use this on a sample SAT problem. All right, so let's try this one. In the given equation, A and B are positive constants. The product of the solutions to the given equation is K times A times B, where K is the constant. What is the value of K? All right, so the first thing we have to do is recognize that this is a quadratic. I have my x squared term, I have my x, and I have my constant. The other thing we need to recognize is even though they're using A and B, the A and B I talk about in my formula are going to be different than this A and B. So the number out in front of my x squared is my A. This middle term out in front of the x is my B, and this A times B is my constant C if I'm using my quadratic formula. Okay? Now, what do we know? We know that we're trying to find the product of the solutions. So in a quadratic, that is always going to be C divided by A. So this makes this problem real easy because all I have to do is take AB and divide it by 57. That has to equal K times A times B. We have an A times B on both sides, so that would cancel out to 1. So my K value would be 1 over 57. So look how fast that was. There are probably other ways to do it, but that is the simplest way if you know that formula. So I hope this helped you. Let me know in the comments if you learned these two parts of quadratics, these two little formulas, if you learned these in class. Um, Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe.